Hey, we're getting ready to listen to some more alumni stories, including a story from Ron Myers, who didn't actually graduate from Cushing, but has some great Cushing ties.
And I remember one, I hope somebody else remembers this, but I remember one style show that the Kiwanis had out at the old swimming pool. And the guys had to wear all women's formals. And Dad had on high heels and a formal and Mom's girdle and hose. It was the funniest thing you ever saw. All these prominent men here in town dressed in formals and high heels walking around the swimming pool. Wow. It was hilarious. It was some kind of style show, and the Kiwanis were trying to raise money.
Probably. I think it was a different time back then. Like she said, you could stay out till dark, or if your mother whistled for you or something, then you had to come home. But everyone trusted everyone, and everyone really loved each other. I don't know.
And it was like the town took care of us. It was like we felt like we could ask anybody for help. You know, if we were in trouble, or and when Mom's house burned, you wouldn't believe the people who brought her clothes and shoes. And I was just so heartbroken when she lost everything. Huh. And but people just, you know, people just responded.
I think too, you know,
and the teachers that are still alive. I love the teachers. We see Miss Dawes, you know, and
Miss Rainwater, who's now 102.
We all go see Miss Rainwater, and we all go see Miss Bondurant, and you know, it's like you were a family. We weren't just students. They treated us like we were part of their family.
Yeah. It just seems like if everyone would go out and maybe, like she said, we might switch partners, or just, you always had a date if you needed one. But it just was like children are missing out on that, because my high school days were the best days of my life. Just so much fun and so much interaction with the town and the people, and just a great place to live.
And all the stores supported us. If like the band or like the Tigerettes or anything, football team or anything needed something, we could ask the merchants in town to help us, and they all would. And it was just, we loved being here. Yeah. We loved being here, and we loved the store. We loved, and Mom and I did concessions for 4 or 5 years out at the football games. We loved the football games, and like Paulette said, we'd always had to do the band, and Mom would stay in there and make hot chocolate and hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff, and we did concessions out there for years, and we loved all the staff and all the players, you know. It was really just a different time. We really enjoyed it. Paulette does scrapbooks and all this stuff, and she saves everything, and I save everything, but I never can find anything. So we were friends with everybody. We loved everybody in the class, and unlike today, there were no prejudice, no, you know, it was, we loved everybody in our classes, and some of them are our lifetime friends. Now we still contact them and still stay in touch with them, and the internet's helped and Facebook's helped and stuff like that, but we keep in contact. We still see them, you know, and Paulette's really good about writing letters and things, but I'm not. But I call them, and I try to see them if they come to Oklahoma City. I try to, you know, somebody needs something, I'm there. But
I would just say, remember the good times. And
come back as often as you can.
And we're looking to build some more memories tonight and Saturday night. Just, you know, hang on to those memories and enjoy what we have left. That's what I would say.
Well, first of all, nobody would know me as Ron Myers. It's Bullet. My mother, my brother, and my sister all graduated from Cushing High School, the old school, the red brick with the columns. And my great uncle helped build that school. He was one of the bricklayers from the school. I grew up to my freshman year, and Deep Rock shut down. At that time, when my dad went to work it was Deep Rock, then it became Kerr McGee, and then it shut down, and my dad was transferred to Navajo, Arizona, where we moved to, Pahrump, Nevada. Well, there was 3 movie theaters, there was a drive-in, there was plenty of pool halls, you know. I remember there was guys set up on the street on Saturdays with all their little gimmicks and games and, you know, shell game. I still remember the shell game. And it was right over by what used to be Oklahoma Tire and Supply. Long's Drug, you know, 3 different drug stores. It was a real thriving community when I was small. Well, it's like day and night. You know, I mean, it was a thriving community. On weekends, you're lucky if you could find, you know, like I said, Friday and Saturday. Lucky if you could find a parking spot. You know, I mean, Montgomery Ward's, C.R. Anthony's, J.C. Penney's. I mean, it was just ongoing. Lane Bryant's. You had the music store, and there was a couple of newsstands, and that's all they sold was newspapers and magazines, and you had an ice cream shop, just different stuff like that. It's all gone now. You know, I mean, let's face it, Walmart put them out of business. Mom and pop organizations hire the local kids in the summertime because, number one, the kids, you roll back to where you come from. Walmart hired who they can get the cheapest. Well, it's started to come back. I mean, when the reunion first started, you could drive through town and it was like, you know, where is everybody? Today we drive in town and it's like, where everybody come from? You know, and they're not here just for the reunion. They're here because they live here now. And because good farming, you know, great people look out for one another, which is something in itself to say. Because I've pretty much lived all over the country. Because the work I'm in, or was in, still in, travel all over the place. I think the best thing for them to do is try and bring in some kind of industry to keep the area improving and give the young people a reason. You know, I mean, you got to have a reason. Right now, it's basically older people. And when they're gone, who's going to take their place? But you have to have a product to sell. You know, I mean, it's easy. It's a great place to live, except for you got earthquakes now, and we didn't have them when I was a kid. And, you know, it needs to be, if you don't get somebody in here to develop it, then it's not ever going anywhere. It's going to be stay what it is today. And like I said, years ago, I can still remember streets being crowded, park benches. There used to be benches along the street here. And I had an uncle, his name was Fat Myers because he was so big and he was humongous and I could just barely remember him. But every Saturday morning, there he was on the park bench. He'd sit there for hours and everybody would come by and say hi and hello and, you know, yada, yada, yada. I mean, it was a real family setup here. That was one of the most important things I think that's missing today is family values. But that's my opinion. Like I said, Cushing has a lot to offer, but people, it's got to be sold to people. It can't be kept in the hindsight. Well, the storage tanks, I mean, they keep going up and keep going up and keep going up. But, you know, it's amazing how many people have gravitated here. But my other question is, when that pipeline gets finished, how many are leaving here? You can't get somebody to come in and make a big investment in something that when the investment's going to pack up and leave 6 months. The only thing I could think of would be to get some kind of industry in here, you know, whether it's building boats or something to that effect, you know, reach out. That's the main thing. You got to reach out. I'll give you an example. I was in a Toyota dealer in Las Vegas, Nevada. I was buying a brand new pickup. And this guy come in from Las Vegas. He's a famous race car driver. And he says, I want to buy an American-made truck. And the guy says, this is a Toyota dealer. He says, yeah, I want to buy a Tundra. It's made in San Antonio, Texas. He says, well, Finley is the name of the car dealer. I don't know, I might get in trouble for that. But they also have a Ford dealer. And he said, well, how about the Ford? He said, Ford ain't made in the United States anymore. So to me, something like that in Cushing would be the perfect place to set up something like that. You got plenty of area, you got plenty of water. The only problem would probably be your railroad system, you know, stuff being hauled in and out would be your biggest problem. The only thing is, you know, the way I look at it is, God bless America, God bless Cushing, and good luck.
Thanks to all the Cushing alumni that took time to sit down and tell their story with us. Hey, we'll be back with more right after this.
You're watching RDMG TV.